7.
Welcome all to July 3rd Wilton Town Board meeting. Start with a public hearing on the ADA transition plan. Has anybody signed up to speak, or does anybody want to speak?
We've got a couple of reasons.
On the ADA.
Where does it work?
But not for the ADA transition plan? Okay, no. Thank you.
Somebody want to make a motion, close the public hearing?
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed, carried. Second one, proposed local law number 4, 2025, extension term of supervisor from 2 to 4 years. Anybody signed up to speak?
No.
We'll make a motion, we close the public hearing on that.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Will everybody stand for the pledge, please?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Supervisor Lamb?
Yes.
Deputy Supervisor McCaffrey? Councilman Bogardus?
Here.
Councilwoman Culligan? Councilman O'Connor?
Here.
Thank you. Has anybody signed up to speak?
Yes, I have Trish Watkins.
How are you tonight, Trish?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
How's those babies?
They're great.
Good.
And I brought my support staff here. I just wanted to comment about how wonderful it is to see the progress that's been made at the Welcome Center at Camp Saratoga. It's really looking great. Scott Harrington and Roy have turned that building around. You just can't believe the work that they've done there. Margot may be speaking to this later on, but I know there are some plans for staffing that building once it's complete, and we seem to be in the end run now towards the finish line. Larry, of course, was down at Camp Saratoga multiple times every day.
They'd be very happy with it, I believe.
That's been missing for the past 7 years, and it will be great to have some people there to bring people. He have trail maps over his visor that he could hand out, and it would be good to have a presence there in the future. Morning, Steve.
Sure. Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Marnie Onderdonk, and I'm the co-secretary for the Wilton Wildlife Preserve and Park organization. And I just wanted to sincerely thank the town for all of your support and effort in making the Larry Gordon Outdoor Education Center come to fruition. I know that Ryan has been working hard, Roy and Scott have been working very hard, and to see the progress that has been made is absolutely wonderful. I can actually picture it in my mind. When everything is complete, you will have a fantastic facility that will welcome people of all ages and to enjoy the park and preserve and the programs that we put on. So I would just like to say, really, thank you so much for everything that you've done. Thank you.
Well, you know, it all works, not just, it's because of you people and all the volunteers that makes it work.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
Tough act to follow. I'm Steve Wilcox. I'm co-board chair with Larry Dana, Wildlife Preserve and Park. And again, like I said in the past, we're just so grateful for all the work. And we're looking forward to the opening of the Welcome Center. You know, at this point, we're working, we have Aunt Andrea Mulholland as part of our board. So she's going to help us, you know, market the opening, and probably have a soft opening, and something more formal later. But it's really exciting time to be part of the board because there's so much transformation going on. And we certainly know we can't do it without you all. So I'm just extremely grateful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Do you know when that soft opening will be? Is there a target? Okay. I will not.
I was chatting with Steve earlier this evening, and so I was out on the trails a couple of days ago and peeked in the window, or windows of the building. It does look really sharp. Town crew's doing a really nice job on it.
I've got pictures, you'll see, short things.
Everybody had a chance to read the June minutes? If so, somebody want to make a motion to accept them?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried.
Can we also approve the ones from 6:30?
Yes, and the ones from 6:30.
I will make that motion.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
I
Abstain.
Thank you.
Approved. Thank you, Susan.
Thank you.
Margot, it's your turn. You're on.
We want to hit the lights.
The Catherine's job, where's he?
Yeah.
Slacker.
Totally fit, we'll get a video.
People out there can see, I guess I'm sort of blocking it. So I'll stand over here, I'll just walk back and forth. So again, I'll just echo the thanks that the team that came in from both Wilton Wildlife Preserve and Park and Trish, who has been part of our steering committee from the very beginning to see this happen. Just how thankful we are, and it's just really been great working with the town. It's such a partnership, and we really, feel that, it's just, I feel like we're going to be talking about this public-private partnership and showing it off, at city meetings and places around the state that will be looking at this as really a role model of what we can do when we work together. So some pictures that are here. I don't know, last time I was here so that was 3 months ago. It was just framing, and so now you can see, again, through the work of Roy and Scott, we've got a wood wall at the back, everything is sheetrocked, the company came and did all the blown-in insulation, everything is trimmed out, and then, thank you, Ryan, you printed out those draft panels, so they will be bigger when we get them made, but again, we put them up, we take them up on the wall just to give the flavor of what it would look like to have those exhibit panels on the wall, so when people come in, they can read about the surf of the sand plains, they can read about the Carter butterfly, about the scouting history, so each of the panels will cover a different topic area, so people can learn about what they're seeing as they go out for a walk, or just learning more about their town and what's in their town. So again, another interior shot. That is the picture there between the windows. That's a panel that has maps and the history of Wilton Wildlife. There's a little tribute to Larry there as well, and that'll be right in front of the reception desk. So when people walk in, that panel will be there on the wall between the windows. They'll be at the desk. I feel like maybe we should have designed it to look like the cab of Larry's car. So when people arrive for a map or for information, there's somebody who just hop out of the car and give them that information. But it will be a reception desk to welcome people in. And then this is where we are right now. If you were to go on by, as you said, you were there today, you'll see that the deck and the accessible ramp are in process. And Mark, thank you. I know you were out there with Scott working out exactly the slope and the
final details.
Yeah, to make sure that we meet all of the accessibility requirements for the people who are coming and using the facility, so you can kind of see how all that looks. So this is kind of everything that we've gone over before. So just, it's sort of nice sometimes to put it all in place. This is everything that's been done so far. So it's kind of dramatic to see how that is building what's done versus what's yet to be done is a smaller list. So that's kind of exciting to see again all of the structural stuff, all of the kinds of things that had to be done to get to the point where we're now at the deck and ramp are in the process. And so our next steps, thank you so much working with Maria and with John on getting the Spectrum connection there so that once that reception desk is there, the person who's working there will be able to answer the phone and able to do their work at their computer station. And then the flooring's all been purchased, it's sitting in there, so the company will be coming back and installing the flooring, and then the heat pump system, and as you saw the exhibit panels, those drafts that Ryan printed out, but we're getting them made as, nice, like museum exhibit panels, and then the reception desk display case, and then the children's nature discovery area. Those are the kind of the next things that we're working on. And we were using July as our, kind of when we would be open, but like I said, it was dependent on, all these other things happening. So we're kind of prepped, I think. Someone mentioned the staffing plan, so, we have a staffing plan in place so that once we are ready, we'll be able to be open. We're planning on being open 5 days a week to start out with. And then we'll kind of go from there. So with our existing staff and volunteers, we'll be able to cover the hours. For right now, our plan is for Wednesday through Saturday? Is that 5 days? No, Tuesday through Saturday, from 10 to 4 is our plan. And so this we talked about at the last meeting also was the wonderful Boy Scout, Eagle Scout project. So Phil Tranchina, I know a lot of you may know him. So he did a fantastic job. We've been working with him. So if you head over to Camp Saratoga, we now have 3 really wonderful gardens, and he did a great job with his fundraising, with a pancake breakfast and the other things that the Scouts do. And so it was really nice. I was able to be there when they were getting it all done and just watching how, what a great job Philip did from when we first met with him to watching him lead this crew of people with this vision and making sure everybody did everything. It was really wonderful. And we're still working with Philip where some of the money he raises for signs, and so we're working with him on the content and getting the signs ready so that they can be installed later this summer as well.
Those gardens are real pretty.
Yes, yeah, and a lot of them are perennials, but some are annual plants, especially in the indigenous garden where we planted the corn, beans, and squash.
Yep.
And so we do have a plan to work with our volunteers. This summer we've got some of our interns who are working to take care of the gardens, but we feel that that'll be a fun engagement with our volunteers who like gardening. So I just wanted to now switch gears a little bit from the Larry Gordon Outdoor Education Center, since this is the quarterly report for Wilton Wildlife, to just again give you, I know you have the written report that was prepared, but it's always nice to be able to see kind of what goes on for those of you who may not be able to attend all of our programs. So you can kind of see this is how we've used Camp Saratoga. So the campfire area, the pond area, the fire tower, the pavilion, the trails, all of these are used with all of our programs, and people of all ages. You can see from preschoolers through seniors or senior walking groups, school groups, all of the different groups that use Camp Saratoga. Again, this chart was in the report, but I was kind of surprised when I sat down to do this and was like, wow, we over 5,000 people for this quarter of the year. Last year, our total program attendance for the year was just over 10,000, so maybe we're on track to exceed that. This is a higher number than our second quarter last year, which was 25% higher than our second quarter the year before. So I feel like we're seeing, again, that build. And again, it's kind of a snowball effect, I guess, as success builds on success and people hear about the programs and come back. So you can kind of see, so between public programs and school programs, that works at about 60% of our programming are those 2 areas. And then the other things that we do make up the rest. So you saw the other high wedge that had a lot of attendance, I guess, is our public outreach, where we're invited or people ask us to come and participate in various community events. You can see us here, these slides, at Wilton Community Day, which was a really fun thing to be part of. And some of these, this was at the Spa State Park, at Lake Avenue School. So we had, different kinds of things. And there's a whole list of all the different community events that we have taken part in just in this quarter of the year. Our annual Wildlife Festival takes part in the second quarter of the year, and it's a wonderful opportunity for people to come to see Camp Saratoga, to see, the wonderful facilities that are there. We had the live animal program in the dining hall, so people could go in the dining hall, and everyone's always amazed when they walk in the door there to see what a beautiful space that is. And then again, the pavilions, everything is used. We take people out, they go out to the rifle range, and they go up to the fire tower. And so it's really a wonderful day for people to explore Camp Saratoga and learn about all the different kinds of things that Wilton Wildlife is involved in. We bring all kinds of community groups for that event as well. And so they really enjoy being able to connect with the community as well. And then just some images of the school programs. As you can see in the report, we talk about in-school programs, after-school programs, and field trips. So these sort of, again, give you the flavor, what it's like doing a turtle discovery program in a school where the kids are all gathered around. They've learned about the turtles, and then they're making the turtle, decorating turtle shells and making their own turtles to take home. Here they're planting lupin, which then later they brought on their field trip to plant at Camp Saratoga. They were doing some kind of analysis. There's an after-school program learning about pollinators. So all kinds of different activities and programs that we do with the different school groups.
Where are they holding?
It's a tadpole.
Oh.
It looks a little weird. Yeah,
It's not,
they're just
sure, like a leech or something.
That's what I thought it was.
Yeah.
And then this was some of the upcoming programs that we have this summer. So some of the different kinds of opportunities that you can see. A lot of them are taking place in and around Camp Saratoga. But you might notice you can see Graphite Range Community Forest walks on there, Aura Phelps walks, and even Round Lake Preserve. So we're continuing our partnership with Saratoga Plan, where we've been doing the programs with them for the last number of years because first of the grant we got, and then we've just continued that partnership. And it's actually become more important because DEC, with the permit that they've given us to do programming on state land, they have significantly cut back on what they will allow us to do and the number of programs. So our permit, which started on May 1st, that will run through the end of April, we're only allowed to do 70 public programs that take place on state land. And so we're being very, careful about how we schedule those programs. So being able to continue to use other community resources that are in the town of Wilton, like the Graphite Range Forest, like Aura Phelps, and they're a little further afield, gives us the opportunity to still be working on our mission of getting people outdoors, doing the environmental education, partnering with other community organizations, while still respecting the directives, I guess, of DEC that is trying to, they're trying to make sure that not too much is happening. They're worried about overuse on the properties, on the state lands. So you'll see, that some of those there's sort of a reason for pushing some of those doing other parcels and doing things on the county land, doing things more at Nealman. And I know Ryan, you were just doing some cleanup on the trails there to make them more usable. So we'll be using some of those trails more than we have in the past. So I know it's, the night before a holiday, so I probably talked way too long, but I don't know if anyone has any questions.
The events on state land,
Yes.
they're capped in terms of number of events and also number of attendees, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So there's two different, because they know we do school programs and public programs. So the public programs are capped at 70 programs. The school programs, they're saying we can only have 1,500 kids total through the programs that we do on the state land. And there's a very specific trail that we can go on. And so for those programs on state land. So So we're just keeping really close
Sure.
tabs on what we're scheduling. And it was sort of, I don't know, it was sort of a mixed blessing. So we have, most of our field trips are in May and June, and so we would have been over 1,500 by May and June. But they also said we couldn't do any programs before noon on state land because of turkey hunting season. And so all of our May field trips, we had to kind of do a shift. And so actually, because the town property goes right up to the meadow where the parking lot 2 is, we developed a route where we could take the kids and use the fire circle there by the winter lodge to do the lesson and then walk them over on, staying on town land to go over and look at the meadow to talk about the Carner butterfly. And so we didn't have to go on the state land. So we kind of had to do a quick pivot to figure out how to still do our field trips without going on state land. So anyway, so we made it work. And the teachers and the kids still said that it was a great program because they do the meadow, the forest, and the pond in that field trip. So they got all of the habitat still. And they were on the pond is all town land, and the forest that we use the old council fire area in the forest. So that's all on town land. So the only part was just going up that little bit into the meadow.
Good.
Any other questions? But once again, as I echo and just thank you so much. And we're really looking forward to being able to do that. When you see that email that says we're having a ribbon cutting or, there'll be the soft opening, we'll, definitely keep you updated with all of that. So hopefully in July, but whenever it is, that's when it will be.
Thanks, Martha.
Thank you all for a great job you do there. ADA transition plan, somebody here from the audience to talk about it? You want to fill us in, Ryan?
Yeah. So this is requirement, ADA, civil rights laws, federal enforcement. The United States Department of Justice oversees this. It's required that this is done, this plan is adopted. And basically, this plan we worked with through a grant with the Capital Resource and Transportation Council, coming up with this plan. And in the plan, I think you guys had a copy last time, but there's extensive mapping throughout the town of every accessible ramp, pathway, sidewalk, whether it's publicly or privately owned. It's been mapped, inventory, graded, and if there's any defects, it's been noted here. So the thought is, that you put a plan in place and start implementing improvements if there are defects. So that's what this is going to do. So if you do not do this, the Department of Justice can come in and say, you need to fix everything. So you need to have a plan and you've got something to move forward. So that's what this is. It's been open for public comment. We have not heard any public comments, to my knowledge, commented on this. So if the board is good with this, we can adopt the transition plan.
I'll make a motion.
We want to make a motion.
Make a motion to adopt the ADA transition plan.
Want a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried.
The sidewalks on Route 9.
Proposed local law number 4 of 2025, extension of term of supervisors, 2 to 4 years. Need a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried.
Council, can I ask a question related to this? So there is state legislation that would create a change in election day for certain elected positions, including local elections.
My understanding of the will change is not election day, but what year
Correct.
the position comes up for election.
It has to come on an even year, which would be next year.
Correct.
If
Was that approved?
It was approved once, then unapproved, and I don't know the current
Right,
status.
I don't know the status right yet.
all right. Okay, so I didn't know if the referendum passes that extends the term of supervisor to 4 years, if that's in effect, is it still just a one-year term for this election?
Yes.
and then
That's probably correct.
the next year's would go
Right.
for, assuming, if the
Yeah,
referendum.
you gotta wait till what the state does.
Yeah. All right.
That was approved, right?
Which, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
1 year and then again.
It could be 1 or 3 or, yeah. Yeah.
Glenn Allen, like to be appointed to the Board of Assessment Review. I know Glenn, John knows him, and I'm pretty sure Dwayne knows him. I've known him for a long time. He's a real decent guy.
He's got an impressive resume. I'll make a motion to appoint Mr. Allen to the Independent Board of Assessment Review.
Second,
I'll second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. 248 Ruggles Road demolition. Need a date set up public hearing. You want to speak about that, Mark?
248 Ruggles Road, we went into it about a year ago. We got called out with emergency services. A woman living in a home having multiple pets. Left some photos up in the back.
Did you say
They were,
Are you sure you want to?
there was rock in the
Skip
floor,
page 4.
feces throughout the home. Nothing was being cleaned. She was taken out of the home, the windows were locked open, never came back. The home's in her husband's still, and he has been deceased for 2 years. And that was probably the last time taxes were. So neighbors are starting to complain.
Is there any,
Took a second look at it, and we're looking back,
is there any next of kin or anybody to notify?
not to be defined. I mean, there's nobody on record at town. And she's not, I don't believe she's deceased. We can't vote.
What happens after the demolition to the property?
This, the demolition, once the house is demoed and the property is cleaned up, that cost is placed on the tax rolls.
So if there's a mortgage on it, a bank would foreclose it?
If there isn't,
If there's a mortgage. If there isn't, it just eventually gets collected on?
yeah.
Well,
Oh, yeah,
at least it's clean.
so if it's demoed and we pay for it, it gets re-levied onto the tax bill, but the county makes us whole. They basically pay us, whether it's paid or not.
Your Honor, has a question.
You're up, sir.
My question is, what did you say, Mark, about who's the record owner?
The record owner is the husband who's deceased.
Okay.
Betty Jo Brooks. She was in a home in Albany for a little while, and I called down there, they have no idea where she went.
Okay, so I'm not that interested in her. What you're saying is that he is the record owner of the property.
Correct.
And he's deceased.
Correct.
So I need to tell you all that as town council, I'm not 100% comfortable moving forward with demolition on property if we're unable to serve proper notice on the owner of the property. That means it might be the estate of Bradley Brooks, it may or may not be a state proceeding, I don't know. And I'm not as interested in Betty Jo Brooks if she's not the record owner. So I just need to forewarn you that that's a potential issue.
So we better do some more research.
How do you find that out?
It's Mark's job.
Should be public record for...
Well, the thing is, if he died intestate, we're not going to know,
Well, we can find that out.
Yeah.
And then we're by operation of law, the ownership goes.
Yeah.
So we just keep the notice on it for now?
And that's my concern, and that's my advice. And we'll look into it.
So the notice on there right now is just that, really.
Right.
The only reason we were here was to set a public hearing.
But I'm not concerned, right, exactly. So I'm not concerned about proceeding with that.
Yeah.
I just, if such time comes that the board wants to authorize demolition, I'm not comfortable.
Sure.
I feel it's important to advise the board that we should be very careful about doing that without knowing who the record owner, who the current record owner is, and making sure proper notice is served. But I'm fine with proceeding on scheduling public hearing.
Okay. So I'll make a motion that we set a public hearing on the 248 Ruggles Road demolition.
I'll second.
It will be August 7th at 7 p.m.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. That fee waiver for Gavin Park, That's Skippy's and the Piston. August 2nd, I believe they're gonna have their 50th anniversary. And they're gonna furnish food for whoever shows up, and they're gonna be selling things. And all the proceeds are gonna go to the Tunnel of Towers group, which helps disabled firemen and veterans, or firefighters are killed in the line of duty or military. A lot of times they try and buy them homes and things, and I honestly think we should waive the fee to doing that.
I'll make a motion that we waive the fee for the Kevin Park Pavilion rental.
I'll second.
All in favor?
What, John, what, did you say what the date was? Did you say August 2nd?
I believe it's August 2nd.
It says it's 20th.
It's a Saturday.
That's the kickball.
Oh, is that what we're just talking about?
It's a Saturday, right?
Number 11.
Yes,
August
that's the
2nd.
first Saturday, yep.
All right. And the second one, I got a letter from Sarah Dagnall. She's a registered nurse. They let you use the Cabin Park for kickball games between emergency workers in the county.
Oh, that's it.
Games at the fire departments, ambulance corps. And this way they can meet, have a day of peace, maybe share their stories and help each other. And I know 3 of us were in the fire service on this board, one still is. And we've all seen a lot of awful things in our careers. Us 3, I think, been pretty lucky we can handle it, but some people, these things haunt them their whole life. Even Dwayne knows, like I do, you make a decision and you wish you made a different decision, maybe the outcome would have been different, and you live with that, but then you realize a lot of things are in God's hands. We have no control over it. And a lot of our resident firemen and ambulance workers are going to be involved in this, will protect our residents. And there's a lot of stress in these jobs. We live with a lot of awful things. So I think it'd be a great thing for them. I'd like to waive that fee and the insurance fee.
Yeah, given the cause, I'll make a motion for a fee waiver.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. This peddling and soliciting permit, we talked about this before. And last week, it probably happened in more places in the town, but on Washburn Road, there was 3 homes that an outfit out in New Jersey went up there and said they were working with the town on Palmer Ridge, and they had extra blacktop, they could give them a deal. And I talked to one guy, I said, I can't believe he was that foolish. He said, well, I'm a trusting person, I like to believe everybody is, and my 2 neighbors went for it. And they told him 11 or 12,000. When it got done, they hit him 30. The other guy was 19,000, I think the other one was 12,400. And they got together on a Saturday and had somebody look at it, and they said, this isn't gonna last. And luckily, they got to the bank. He canceled his whole checking account. The other 2 stopped payment, and the people did it. I figured they'd been there that Friday, but they didn't go to Monday. It was too late to cash the check, so we talked about this before. I think, somebody come to the door. I had a kid come to my house a month ago, out of nowhere, selling something, and I think it'd be nice if people could call the building department or town clerk, see if they're registered. We probably have a little history. I don't think we should let anybody go in people's houses. There's a lot of scams today. So I wish it's something you maybe think about for next month, and with some advice from Mark, we'll maybe
Maybe we
pursue
could put it on the town website.
We
So if
did.
you have a question, you can go on there, see who has permits.
Right.
Or something like that.
Something like that. Something we should really give a lot of thought, I think.
Yeah. Or the reminder of putting no soliciting signs in by your front door or in your front landscaping bed.
Yep.
Then they shouldn't.
Well, the kid didn't stop for coming to my house with 2 barking dogs, so
Yeah, mine either.
I
But
just,
they usually don't stick around long.
something to think about. Committee reports.
Let's see, you may have seen, Exterior took it today, did a story on it. Excuse me. The state legislature, both houses approved the transfer of a dozen acres of land on Northern Pines Road, just north of the veterans housing, so that it could be used at some point in the future for additional housing for veterans by the Veterans and Community Housing Coalition. And I know the supervisor had followed up with Senator Tedisco's office. I talked with Assemblyman Warner's office, and so the details, will have to be worked out with OGS on a survey, I'd imagine, have to be done.
That's great. I went to the music last night at Gavin Park, and fireworks, big hit. People appreciate it. As you all know, I've been working with the governor's office on Mount McGregor Road. Me and Steve Bolger, county administrator, come up with an agreement that the county will take the road over and do all the maintenance and repairs at their cost, not us. And we suggested they come up with a survey first so they can get it done right. So we had a phone call we've been waiting a month for an answer. We had a conference call the other night, and they deny owning the road. But I said, the first thing we gotta do is get the survey, and then we'll worry about that. But they went from 2.8 million, they're up to 4 million now, and it's hard to believe they say they don't own it, but they want to give us 4 million. We're going to reach for 7 or 8, but that is in the works. I think this time they might move on something so we can get it going. And I'm thinking about, we got that sign over here at the memorial, the World War II Korean veterans. I'm ashamed to say this, but it's long overdue. We haven't done it for the Vietnam veterans and the Gulf War veterans. We have a lot of residents from this town served in those wars and put their lives on the line, so I contacted the guy head of the veterans in the counties, tried to give me a list of names so we don't forget nobody. So when it comes time to do it, I hope I got all your support. I think it's a great thing so we don't forget our people.
Great idea.
All right. Anybody got anything else? You're up, Maria.
Yes, thank you. So for the council report, I have 25 budget transfers. The first item in that is a memorial bench that we would like to purchase for Jeannie Waters to be placed somewhere in the senior center. Our historian had done some research and found something that would be acceptable and nice for the community to use and see and enjoy. The cost of that is $819. The second item under budget transfers is to fund the recently approved increase for our senior clerk in the zoning department, utilizing unused monies for the code enforcement salary line. So that's basically
Somebody want to make a motion to approve those 2 budget transfers?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you. The second item is the budget amendments, and the first category there is we are having to pay some money for the installation of the dome that we talked about in the playground. The initial amount that we had talked about was $24,000, and it was understood by a couple of different people dealing with the vendor that that was the cost for purchase and installation. During a later conversation, turns out that actually installation was a little bit more than that, so we believe that the item that we have now is the final price of $37,012. $34,712. So the first item under that is to increase revenue utilizing a county grant that we applied for and were approved for, and then using that money to fund part of the increase in the installation. And the remainder, the $712, would come from, interest that we're earning that's beyond our budgeted amount. So those 2 items are actually the same thing, just divided up by source.
I'll make the motion for the budget amendment.
And a second?
Second.
In favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried.
The next item is personnel. Cost has submitted his letter of resignation. His effective date would be July 21st, 2025. He is our recreation maintenance worker.
Want to make a motion?
So moved.
Second. In favor? Opposed? Carried.
And lastly, we have our financial statements that were issued on May 29th. They were, the opinion was issued, but the statements were not yet ready for our June 3rd meeting, early June meeting. So they're being presented to the board formally now. The auditors conducted their audit with auditing standards that are promulgated by the United States generally accepted accounting principles. And that's just a very high-level summary. A lot goes into what the auditors do, but I felt it was necessary to just kind of say that they worked hard. The statements actually are, there's a series of 3 sets of statements. We have our first set, which is the statement of net position and the statement of activities that is prepared on a long-term basis, so it's an economic resources measurement focus. So it takes into account all transactions regardless of when cash comes in or goes out. Under that basis of accounting, which is the accrual basis, under that basis of accounting, the town has a $33 million net position. Over half of that relates to net investment in capital assets. So all of our capital assets net of accumulated depreciation. And then the remainder of net position is divided up between restricted and non-restricted financial position. Our next set of financial statements is contrasted with that because it only focuses on current period financial resources. So that does take into consideration when cash comes in and out. It's not cash basis, it's modified accrual basis. So it's a little bit more than cash basis in terms of what it takes into account. It's certainly far less than our net position statements, which is good. There's a reconciliation on the statement of revenue expenditures and changes in the fund balance that articulates both sets of statements together so that the readers can see how those 2 sets of statements relate. So a big item is, like I had said, the net investment in capital assets would be up here on the statement of net position, but not on the financial statements. So that's one of the items that is a reconciling item. So again, you can kind of see the types of transactions that take place in both sets of financial statements. And then lastly, we have our fiduciary fund financial statements, which is basically just like what it sounds like, is when the town has a fiduciary or custodial aspect to the relationship with the assets. So in other words, bail that we collect, it's not ours to use for the purpose of funding governmental activities. Same thing with our staff assets. We can't use it for anything other than holding it for the people that are actually going to end up using it. The biggest piece that we have is the property taxes that are collected on behalf of other governments. We can't use that to fund our governmental activities here in the town of Wilton. That's basically a pass-through to the county. So we do have to record that, but it's excluded from the first set of financial statements, so it's a whole separate kind of set of financial statements. And then we also, of course, have our notes to the financial statements, our disclosures, and our required supplementary information. And I don't know if I failed to mention, but we did receive an unmodified opinion, which is a clean opinion, so we're good.
Great job, Miranda.
You're the best, girl.
Is that it?
So, you can imagine, 40 years in the banking business, I've got a lot of financial statements, and I emailed Maria when I saw she distributed this electronically, and there's one paragraph you always look for first. In our opinion, the financial statements referred to above present fairly in all material respects the respective financial position of the governmental activities, each major fund, the fiduciary fund, and the remaining fund information of the town of Wilton, New York, as of December 31, 2024, and the respective changes in financial position for the year ended in accordance with accounting principles generally accepted in the United States of America. You can read all the detail and everything else, but you better see that paragraph in your audit. I noticed a healthy increase in the fund balance.
Yes.
Which, again, goes to prudent financial management in this community.
I got something I got to bring up on the report. I got a call, I don't know if I brought it up to anybody a while back, from the president of Wilton Fire. You know, somebody was building a dome or a stadium, and the deal fell through, and they had purchased 3 batting cages. They're brand new. I want to know if we'd want them. I said, of course we'd take them. So I sent Ross, he went up and looked at them last week. He said they're great, and I promised one's in town of Greenfield, so I'm just going to get 2. So they're probably worth 15, 20 grand a piece, or not more.
Nice.
Fantastic.
Anybody else got anything?
Motion to adjourn?
Second?
Third.
Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah.